You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmonds, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it has been a very interesting day over here in the AFC East and the NFL in general. To discuss all of that and more, I have my host, as always, with me, Charlie Touche. Charlie, how are you?
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. Got my co-host, Kadeem Simmonds, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. I thought we were saving that for big time guest, Kadeem. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I thought I was just for the friends of the podcast when they came on.
Do you know what it was? I've been watching some wrestling videos, as well as the Vince McMahon documentary on Netflix and New Age Outlaws. That's how they've done their intro, and I'm still not happy with my intro. I feel like I need something that everyone goes, yeah, that's Kadeem Simmonds. So I'm 4 seasons in, still trying to, or 5 seasons in, 4 on YouTube, still trying to mix and match some things. But yeah, you know how it is.
Bruh, a lot of stuff going on. Shout out to Jason Keck in the comments. Shout out to everybody else who enjoyed their bye week. Hopefully you enjoyed your bye week. A lot of stuff going on in the AFC East. Movement.
Before we get into our first thing, I want to show you something very, very quickly. Charlie, I was at the watch party, the Miami Dolphins one.
Mm-hmm.
They've had some recent photos, and this is what they tweeted out for basically the watch party. So if my computer starts messing around, this is awful. Why is something at the bottom? Oh, I know why. Because I'm doing dumb stuff. Oh my days, this is awful. Right. Oh no, this is probably the worst thing that I've ever done in my whole entire life.
I ain't gonna lie, Kadeem, you never know what you're gonna get with Kadeem when he's about to show us something. It's like, yo, I just hope we don't see no crazy search history. What's Kadeem about to show us?
So can you see that now?
We can.
The 2024 watch party in London was epic. Tag a fellow Dolphin if you see them. And this is the main photo, or one of the 4 main photos they are using. Myself, Ray, and 5 Yard Lee from the Dolphin UK podcast. I just think it's an epic photo. I don't know what we're watching and what part of the match this is, but yeah, just love this photo.
It's a epic. I don't know, but it's a solid pick. It is a solid pick. Deem's in the middle. He has his Go Time Dolphins jersey on. It looks like you guys are very intrigued by something on the screen that y'all are watching. But it wasn't a Dolphins game, right? Because I don't think we played at that time.
This was the Patriots game. This is Dolphin Patriots.
Also, that could have been the Dolphins Patriots game then that y'all were watching.
This was 100%. The only game we watched at the watch party was Dolphins Pats. So yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. So yeah, y'all were locked in. You can tell y'all are locked in. That's what's up.
100%. So yeah, I thought I'd get out of the way because I know there's so much stuff to get into, and yeah, a bit of fun. So apologies for the mishap. I'll explain everything in bonus time. But yeah, the floor is all yours, Charlie.
Hey, Kadeem, we had a bye week. I hope you enjoy your bye week. In bye week, there's 3 things what I always say when it's football season, man. I'm like, yo, if you could win, your team wins, the Dolphins win, your fantasy football team wins, and your parlay hits. Bruh, if you could hit all 3 of those, you have a really good week in during the football season. So we had a bye week, and with bye weeks comes turmoil in the fantasy football world. So we have 2 fantasy football leagues here on Go Time Dolphins. We have a Veterans League and a Rookie League. Right now, we're calling both of them. And next year, we believe we're going to incorporate some type of relegation league where it's a 1A league and like a 1B league and you get relegated. We're not sure how that's going to work yet. But so far in fantasy, Kadeem, on the Go Time Dolphins Veterans League, here are the standings. It was pretty I don't know. It's a lot going on over here in this league. Even in last place, you're still in the playoff picture. But we'll start from the top. Championship Chuck is 6-0. Miami Finn is 5-1. Flipper Main Mick is 5-1. Sherrod Steve is 4-2. The Average White Guy is 3-3. SWFL is 2-4. Ty Freak Waddle is 2-4. Same Old Dolphins is 2-4. Fanish is 1-5, and CD's Nuts is 0-6.
Damn.
Here comes affiliate of the podcast, Josh Kasker, on a 2-game winning streak that I don't love because he's only like 2 games out of the playoffs. And that's why fantasy football, it's never over, Kadeem.
It is crazy. And yeah, to be 0-6, like.
And it's a pretty good team that's 0-6. I'm not even going to lie. Like, he has, I think, I want to say Diggs and Derrick Henry, CD Lamb. Like, man, bro, like 0-6 is tough.
Very tough. We have no one 0-6 in the beginners league because we kind of know what we're doing. You know, we know how to get dubs over here. Just saying.
Okay.
We have Arthur Folk's sake 5-1, Stranger for Danger 4-2, alongside Jimmy's Giants. Hawk Tua, Wake 921. He's got Hill and Hawk Tua are all 3-3. That's also including my 3-3 team. You know, just picking up dubs over here. Just saying. Phil's Fins and Robbins are 2-4. Two in the Pink is 2-4, and Two Infinity and Beyond are 1-5. So yeah, it's even Robert Ashton 1-5. I guess can still make the playoffs. Needs to pick up some wins, but yeah, it's interesting over here. It's quite tight.
What's your team name?
Hawk Tour, like nothing too spectacular. Just a bit of fun.
That's your team name, Kadeem?
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, listen. So in our league, Kadeem, last week, I didn't start out. I started Anthony Richardson, and I was playing against a undefeated team. He was Flipper Main Mick was 4-0 at the time. I guess he was 5-0 at the time. I was 5-0 at the time, and I had Anthony Richardson starting, but I didn't want to drop him, and I didn't want to drop anyone from my bench. So I'm like, dang, bro, I'm just gonna have to take 0 points from Anthony Richardson. And he's been single-handedly bringing me down in every league that I have him in. And it's all the leagues except for one. I think, yeah, all the leagues except for one. And I'm like, dang, bro. So I got a goose egg, big old 0 from Anthony Richardson last week. But I still remain undefeated. Knocked off another undefeated, and I won that week. Going into this week, Kadeem, very similar situation. Anthony Richardson's going to play this week. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll start him. I'm a 1 quarterback person. I'm like, look, bro, I only like 1 quarterback on my roster, live and die by that quarterback. I've been dying and surviving by Anthony Richardson. Like, I'm dying by Anthony Richardson, but the rest of the team is performing. Unlike the Dolphins, where like, yo, we kind of need a quarterback to perform. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I see that Ty Freak Waddle isn't going to start a tight end. He has Travis Kelce. He is 2-2 at the time, 2-3 at the time. And I feel like Ty Freak Waddle's like, yo, I don't want to drop Travis Kelce to pick up a tight end. So he's just going to play without a tight end. For someone to do that at 2-3, I'm like, dang, bro, I understand it because I just did that last week. But I don't have a defense this week, Kadeem. And Neighbors was also in concussion protocol. So I'm like, dang, bro. Do I play Ty Freak Waddle without a defense and without Neighbors? So what do you think I did?
I think you picked someone up. To me, like, I can't imagine you didn't play Neighbors and a defense. That just seems too silly for me.
Too much, right?
Yeah.
So turns out I'm at work, and Anthony Richardson actually did not play. Everybody said it was going to play. So now I got 3 players out. I'm like, bruh, I got to keep my undefeated streak going. I can't have Neighbors out, Anthony Richardson out, and a defense out. So I had to drop someone that I did not want to drop, absolutely did not want to drop. And I picked up Alan Lazard to replace him with Malik Neighbors. So I played without a defense and without a quarterback. And that Alan Lazard Hail Mary is basically what won me the game.
He won you the game, didn't win the Jets the game, but that's a whole nother conversation to have very, very quickly or very shortly. Also some fantasy stuff. Shout out to both Louis and Paul for using the GTD promo code GTDFF on the Fantasy Game Day app. They both won some money this week. Already made profit. They put the £7.50 in, got a free game, and got money. So if you haven't already, if you're living in the UK and you want to win some money or compete in Fantasy Game Day, go to Fantasy Game Day app and use code GTDFF.
Daily fantasy football, where you need to get your daily fantasy football fix. Promo code GTDFF Fantasy Game Day app.
Yep. Shout out to Louis and Paul, both winning money using promo code GTDFF. So, yeah. And shout out to people in the comments. Shout out to Lee Connolly. He says, evening. And shout out to Jason Keck. Said, Charlie and Kadeem, how are you? All is well, I hope. And yeah, I can only speak for myself when I say I am well. Charlie, I asked you earlier, but again, how are you?
I'm cooler than a polar bear's toenail, bro.
Do polar bears even have toenails?
I mean, they got nails, right? And their toes, right? So I imagine they do. They got claws, right?
But claws on toes. The claws.
There's nails coming out of their claws.
Then the claw nails, not toenails.
There's claws. There's nails coming out of their paws.
But again, like that's different. Like no. You know what? Like, I'm not doing this right now. Polar bears don't have toes. Like Jason, they are nails. I'm not disputing that the fact they don't have nails. I'm just saying they don't have toes to have toenails.
I disagree. I think claw is in the family of nails, because if your nails grow long enough, they can become claws.
That is true.
There it is.
But then where's the toes?
It's their hands. It's the paws. The paws.
Sorry, the toes are their hands.
All right, look, we're not doing this, man. Hey, AFC East news. We got a whole episode. AFC East news. We were talking about the paper planes and how a Hail Mary did not help them win last night, but I think they got some help coming into the AFC East, Kadeem. Devontae Adams was traded to the paper planes. Is that going to be a problem for the AFC East and the Miami Dolphins?
On paper, it will be a problem. They just added a top 30 wide receiver, maybe top 20 on his day. Hasn't done much in Las Vegas with the Raiders, but that's a team which is kind of struggling on offense. But the paper planes are struggling on offense as well. I think people have said that for the first 6 weeks of this season, they put up the same amount of points as they did last season with Zach Wilson. Like, this isn't a team which is killing it on offense, and they thought that firing Robert Saleh would, turn their season around, and they just lost again. And as people pointed out, they didn't lose the game through a lack of offense. They lost through penalties and bad special teams, with a bad kicker. The solution isn't to go and sign a 31-year-old wide receiver. Like, you're giving up future assets for someone who you kind of don't know what you're going to get. And maybe this means that Aaron Rodgers stays next season, but who knows? If Aaron Rodgers decides to retire in the offseason, you're stuck with a Devontae Adams who doesn't want to be there because his best friend Aaron Rodgers just left. So, yeah, those are my initial thoughts on the Devontae Adams trade to the paper planes.
So to incorporate everything, we might as well go to the other side of this as well. The Buffalo Bills also add help and get Amari Cooper from the Cleveland Browns. Are we worried about Amari Cooper being added to the Bills? What are you? Yeah. Are you worried about Amari Cooper being added to the Bills, or is this another addition that, you know what, we still like our chances, but maybe they got a little bit better?
I think again, on paper, they got a little bit better. But like you mentioned on the last episode, I think it was, we don't know what the Buffalo Bills are this year. We're looking at them going, do something, like just putting them saying, hey, are they going to be good? Are they going to be bad? They're only beating bad teams, which is what people accused the Dolphins of doing last year. When they play good teams, they lose. So, listen, Amari Cooper adds quality. He doesn't really replace Stephon Diggs. Not many people can. I'm more worried about Cooper arriving in Buffalo than I am Adams arriving in East Rutherford. But that's also because right now, until someone can prove or until someone can stop the Buffalo Bills, the AFC East is theirs to win. So any additions they make, I'm more worried about that just because of how they've been over the past like 5 years.
So that brings us to last night's game, AFC East competition, the Bills versus the Paper Planes. I'm not even going to lie to you. It was a really good game. It was a really good game. It was going back and forth. And it was funny because shout out to Sherrod Steve. He said he couldn't watch the game. So I didn't want to tell Sherrod Steve via text, bro, you kind of missing a good game, because I didn't want to have him, like, dang, bro, you had to throw that at me, right? But at the same time, I didn't want to text that because I didn't want him thinking there were really two good teams. Like, it wasn't a good game because there were two good teams. It was just a good back and forth game. As I'm watching the game, Kadeem, I'm still like, these boys ain't really that good. Neither team is really that good. And exactly what I said, I don't know what the Bills are yet, but I kind of know what the Paper Planes are, and they're not that good, right? So for it to be a good game against a Paper Planes team who I don't believe is that good, I wasn't impressed by neither team. And I will go so much to say, and I text this in a couple group chats. I'm like, yo, both teams will lose at least 4 more games this year. Both teams are going to lose at least 4 more games this year. So I'm not overly concerned, and I know we're behind the 8 ball, and I know we don't know when our quarterback is coming back, and I don't know how many games we will be behind by the time Tua does come back. But at the same time, like, I'm okay with it because I don't believe neither team is going to jump out to a 3 or 4 game lead on a division.
Yeah, and I don't think either move makes them Super Bowl contenders. Like, it might move the needle, but it's like if you're driving your car and your tank is on E and you add like 10 cents of gas and it moves slightly. It's like it's not doing anything. Like, you're still not going anywhere anytime soon. So listen, they are, as Lee says, and he's talking about the Paper Planes trade, not so much the Bills, but he said it's flashy signings. It's the kind of signing you make to try and appease your fan base. Say, hey, we're really trying hard. If you're the 1-4 Paper Planes, it's like, our season starts now. Just ignore the first 5-6 weeks of the seasons. And if you're the Buffalo Bills, it's, hey, we think we've identified an area where we can improve, so we're going to go through it. But I'm not worried. My main concern, if there is any concern, is what do the Dolphins do? And I put it to you, what do you think the Dolphins should do? Obviously, Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel have seen the news. They know their rivals have done something. Do you expect anything from the Dolphins in terms of trades, in terms of anything, or yeah, basically?
Here's where I'm at. And just to before I transition into what the Dolphins' rebuttal should be, I would go as far to say I do think Adams being added to the Paper Planes is a better addition than Cooper being added to the Bills. I think because of the chemistry, Adams and Rodgers pick up faster than Allen and Cooper. I think it's going to take some time for Cooper to get incorporated into the offense. Is he going to have some 100-yard game within the next 3 weeks? Possibly. Yeah, possibly. But I think that Cooper addition will really kick in later on in the year. It'll be a really good look. It'll be a really good fit. It'll be a key addition later on in the season, not for right now. But Adams, I think he has a chance to pay dividends for the Paper Planes. However, I'll be even more transparent in the same group chats. I'm like, bro, Aaron Rodgers is not going to make it through the whole season. He gets hit every play, almost every play. And some of these hits are pretty bad, bro. I'm like, oh, boy, you're 40, bro. I know how I feel in my 40s. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, like, come on, dog. I'm not trying to get hit by AJ Epinesa like that, like without even seeing him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know about the paper planes, regardless of who they add. But Kadeem, me and you are in a group chat, and someone mentioned in our group chat that the Dolphins should reach out and inquire about one Hassan Reddick, one of my favorite players, defenders that came out in I want to say I feel like that was the Charles Harris draft, but I could be wrong. So it doesn't, the timeline does not sound right, but I think he was way more recent than that. But anyway, I feel like Hassan Reddick, bro, he's not playing in New York because he was traded to New York and he wanted a contract. So the paper plans were like, yo, we'll negotiate your contract after you come to camp. And it got a little shaky because they were like, nah, bro. Hassan Reddick was like, nah, I want to get paid now. That's why the team traded you to me, because they didn't want to pay me. So you have to pay me since I'm going to come here. And the Jets was like, the paper plan's like, nah, not yet. And he said, well, I'm not coming to camp at all. Has accrued a ton of fines, Kadeem. It's like over $5 million worth of fines right now that can't even be waived. It's not like one of those fake fines where this team that signed you waive the fines and then pay you a long-term contract. And I'm getting into your answer because I do think that Hassan Reddick is not going to play in New York, but he wants to accrue an entire season. And in this group chat that we're talking about, I'm talking about, Kadeem, it was mentioned that, yo, maybe the Dolphins could step in. Jalen Phillips just went down. Bradley Chubb hasn't returned yet. Hassan Reddick is an edge rusher, a pretty good one. He hasn't gotten paid. He's still going to want to get paid in Miami. Like, yo, y'all got to pay me. You feel me? Like, just because the Eagles didn't pay me and the paper planes didn't pay me doesn't mean I'm going to come here and play for y'all. Y'all got to pay me too. But since it's a rental, what the Dolphins can do is like, look, bro, we're not going to pay you long term, but I'm sure you want to accrue a season. What we can assure you of is that we accrue your season, pay your fines, pay you for the rest of the season, and then you walk next year. And then you're happily back on the market. That is a great idea. I forgot who mentioned it. Maybe you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I think that's a great idea. And that would be a huge addition because the paper planes want to get rid of them. And they would assume that, oh, well, now it could be the Dolphins' problem. And they might trade them inside of the division, and I'll be all for it. Other than that, Kadeem, I'm just ready for my quarterback to come back. And I feel like we have closed the gap on the division, or we have kept the gap not as wide, and I'm happy because of it.
So first thing first, you made a throwaway comment and you said that you thought Hassan Reddick was drafted in the same draft class as
Charles Harris.
Mm-hmm. You are correct. 2017.
Hey, that's what's up.
So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you know, I had to fact check, and yeah, Reddick was taken 13th overall to the Cardinals, and the Dolphins took Charles Harris 22nd overall.
That was also the Dalvin Cook draft.
Dalvin Cook, yep, pick 41. There's some plays in this.
Oh, there's also the TJ Watt draft too.
Yes, it definitely was. He went pick 30. The Reuben Foster draft, where every single Dolphins fan online went to Reuben Foster. I was just saying, yeah, Tyus Bowser was drafted in the second round by the Ravens, and he is now a Miami Dolphin. So funny how these things turn out. Yeah, I think before I give my opinion on what the Dolphins should do, and shout out to Lee, he says, just one decent interior O-lineman, please, great. Honestly, think that massively helps. I'll get to that shortly. The one thing I'm finding really interesting is the Dolphin fans' ability on social media and podcast shows, all that kind of stuff, to flip-flop so much and demand completely like contrasting things from the same people. So like a few weeks ago, it was fire Greer, fire McDaniels, tank the rest of the season, don't win any other games, go get a quarterback. Okay, cool. That's your opinion. That's what you want to do. Then it's also, well, actually, we'll fire Greer, fire McDaniel, but also win games this year to get to the playoffs, but also draft a quarterback. It's like, I don't know how that's going to work unless you're going to give up picks. But again, is what it is. These are your opinions. But I also want the Dolphins to pay their homegrown talent, like friend of the podcast, Javon Holland, which I agree with. Great. Okay, fair enough. But then also they want the Dolphins to trade for Max Crosby or Hassan Reddick. It's like, if you trade for Hassan Reddick and you pay him, you're not paying Javon Holland. Like, that's not going to work. But also, if you trade for a Max Crosby or a Hassan Reddick or anyone, that basically kind of implies that you're trying to win the rest of the season. And also, if you don't like Chris Greer, why do you want Chris Greer to stay and make, like, none of it makes sense. You're having these pointless conversations with people who can't even tie their own shoelace and form a coherent sentence. Like, I don't quite understand it. I have no issue if you want Chris Greer to go. Cool, that's your opinion. But can you make up your mind whether you want him to go now, at the end of the season, whether you want him to still make picks, if that makes sense? Like, does any of that, what I just said, make any sense?
No, it don't make sense. That's why I don't listen to it.
Yeah, like, I don't get it. However, if I'm the Dolphins, I'm not panicking right now. Like we keep on saying, week in, week out over the past 2 or 3 weeks, our panic meters at like a 2 or 3. The Dolphins just beat the Patriots. It was an ugly game. It will probably be an ugly game on Sunday against the Colts, but I believe the Dolphins can win that game. All of a sudden, you're 3-3, about to face a Cardinals team with your quarterback back. Like, yes, I do believe they should try and improve the interior of the offensive line, but just because your rivals are making trades doesn't mean you have to go panic and make trades as well. If there's nothing out there for you, sometimes it's better to sit on your hand as opposed to give up future draft capital for someone who doesn't actually improve the team, if that makes sense.
I heard something you just said in there. So we kind of disagree on a couple things, and we're not even in the preview yet, but you already invoked it. I don't mind saying it. I don't know if the Dolphins make it past the Colts this week. I would like for us to. I think we have a better chance if Anthony Richardson is playing because we can kind of contain him. Anthony Richardson is terrible, bro. Trevor Lawrence is terrible too, bro. Like, yo, listen. I text that to Sherrod Steve, and on some like friendly stuff. You know how a lot of our conversations can be kind of combative, but because we have a relationship like myself and you, Kadeem, we can have combative conversations and know it won't go anything further than this, just that conversation. And me and Steve have, unfortunately, I don't like the fact that we have to have conversations that are so combative. We have developed that relationship where we can have combative conversations and it just stay in a conversation. But even when I seen Trevor Lawrence play, bro, I'm like, Steve, bro, I text him like, I'm sorry, bro, but Trevor Lawrence just ain't it, bro. Like, and I sent the I'm sorry gift. Like, I know we on the opposite end, but bro, he's just not it. You know what I'm saying? And his comeback was, well, if Trevor Lawrence is terrible, then what is Skylar Thompson? Touche. All right, you're right, but Skylar Thompson don't get paid $52 million. That's all I'm saying, right? On the flip side of that, Kadeem, and I'm gonna get to what you just mentioned because we still have some disagreements in there. When I came to London, bro, I was at the Hippodrome, and there was a random Londoner or Englander, I don't know what y'all call them, but random was in the Hippodrome. Like, oh, where you from, mate? You got an accent, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I'm from Miami, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, oh yeah, so you came for the games, yeah? I like, yeah, man, whatever, chopped it up. It was cool. He was sitting next to me, he was moving around and everything, and we were watching all the screens and stuff. And then he was like, oh, you a Dolphins fan? I like, yeah, I'm a Dolphins fan. The Dolphins are playing in London. I like, yeah, the Dolphins are playing in London. That's why I'm here. And he was like, makes sense, right? And he said, "Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, but no offense, but London always gets the crap teams." And he didn't say crap. You know what I'm saying? He's like, "We always
Yeah,
get
I know he said, yeah.
you know what I'm saying?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yo, we always get the crap games, the crap teams." And I'm like, "Dang, is that true, bro?" Like, because Dolphins are always over there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Are we considered like the crap teams amongst the crap teams? Right. So I'm like, dang, bro. And then when I was watching the London games with the past week, bro, Jags ain't it, bro. They are really crap, bro. So it's crazy that this Londoner was like, he was on to something like, yo, we don't get no good games, no good teams out here. So I'm like, dang, bro, I can't even be mad at dude right now.
It's funny you say that because I kind of wanted to have an entire conversation around this topic. Might save it for extra point over on Patreon. But what I will say is that you've seen the fixture for this Sunday, right? The London game this Sunday.
It's Jags versus somebody.
The 1-5 Jacksonville Jaguars against the 1-5 New England Patriots. Like, yo, like, and yeah, there is an accepted fact among London or UK NFL fans that they are always going to get bad games, or at the very least, it might be a good matchup on paper, but by the time the team gets to London, they're going to stink. Happens like even. I guess what's funny, the best game we've had so far this year, and probably the best game we will have, was Vikings against the Paper Planes, in which Sam Darnold beats Aaron Rodgers. But originally that would have been JJ McCarthy against Aaron Rodgers, and also Aaron Rodgers coming off an ACL injury. So it's like, oh, no, not an ACL injury, whatever injury he had. So again, it's like, yeah, there's an accepted fact that London gets bad games, and you look at the games that Brazil got. Brazil got Packers, Eagles. Spain last year got Dolphins, Chiefs. It's like, yo, that's what we as London fans.
Germany. You
Germany,
said Spain.
sorry,
We haven't gone to
Spain
yet. We haven't got there yet.
Yeah, and
you gotta say like lo siento. You know what I'm saying? That. sorry.
But yeah, so yeah, the Dolphins. Even going back to Dolphins Jags last time we played, that was what Tua coming off an injury, but the Dolphins hadn't won in 4 or 5 games,
and nobody believed in Tua yet either.
Yeah, so even the Dolphins Jags in London should be
I get it.
Yeah, for whatever reason, you don't want to come to London at the moment because you're probably going to be stinky or have an injury. It's that simple.
That's crazy because, and I'm gonna get back to your question, because Minnesota wasn't supposed to be good this year, and they were written off. But the Paper Planes, and in defense to this argument, the Paper Planes are looked at as a team that should be basically going all the way. That's why they have so many primetime games, and we're going to send them to London, and now London can't say they don't have a good team coming, but they're actually still not good. So yeah, I don't know, but it is what it is. That being said, back to your question about the Colts coming up and Tua potentially coming back.
No, for Cardinals.
Right, for the Cardinals. Right.
Yeah, so yeah.
But I was on the end of the Colts game, which is I don't know if we win that game. I think we have a better chance if Anthony Richardson is playing. I would really like, bro, I have Anthony Richardson in all of my fantasy leagues. I have faith in this dude, and he has probably 40 points in 6 weeks total. You know what I'm saying? I would hate for Anthony Richardson to go off on my Dolphins, bro. Like, yo, keep wetting the bed like you've been wetting the bed, bro. Don't show up on us now. You know what I'm saying? So, and I have to start him too in fantasy because he's my only quarterback. All that being said, Kadeem, you had a throwaway comment and said, "Oh, Tua's coming back in week 8." So you believe Tua's coming back in week 8?
I wouldn't bet my house on it because I don't have my mortgage yet. But yeah, I bet my PS5 control. Not the whole PS5, but you can get my control. You get my PS5 control.
Oh, you sorry, bro. Sorry. I bet my PS5 control, bro. Like, come on, bro. So Coach Mike McDrip did come out and say, yeah, we're expecting the Tua to come back this year. Tua's going to play this season. We're expecting him to come back this year. Unlike any other time, Tua was expected or not expected to come back, and answers were a little like fuzzy and I don't know and all this other good stuff. This was like the first time in public he said we're expected Tua back this season. Obviously, the earliest Tua can come back because he's on IR would be against the Arizona Cardinals, which is week 8. However, Tua hasn't passed concussion protocol yet, but you can't pass concussion protocol yet until you start training. So the consensus is that he has been getting multiple opinions from multiple neurologists, and it seems as if he has gotten enough information to decide that he's going to play. And one would like to think if he's going to play and he's eligible to come off IR week 8, we might see Tua practice next week, as early as next week. And if he does, we would hope he passes concussion protocol, unlike Malik Neighbors, who has been out for feels like 17 days and he's still not passing concussion protocol. I don't know what's going on there, but I don't like that either. Just as a human, on a human level, like, dang, bro, like you still out, you know what I'm saying? And you can't pass concussion protocol. So I don't know what's going on there. But you said you Tua plays week 8. I'd like to give you the floor and expand on that.
Yeah, I just think that your quarterback returns, QB1 returns. I don't understand why you would hold him back for the Cardinals game. Like, yeah, there might be an element of rust, but it's not like you can throw him in a preseason game. It's not like there's anything you can really like. Okay, you hold him out for the Cardinals and play him the following week. If he's healthy, play him against like. Listen, probably not the best example. They done it not last year, the year before. Came back, played against the Steelers on my birthday. Noah Igbenogany interception. Dolphins win the game. Brilliant. Yeah, I just think it also sounds like of the concussions he's had, this one was not that severe, not that bad. He traveled to both the road games, Seattle and New England. He's been around the facility. Personally, I feel like if he wasn't on IR, he would have come back. Obviously not for the first game, but probably the second game. I think for people who don't like what McDaniels has and hasn't said, I just think McDaniels basically being, you guys don't need to know right now because he can't play. And if I don't tell you, then you'll stop asking questions about it. So yeah, you know what? I'll bet you can't see I'm touching the PS5. I'll bet the PS5 to know about myself that he plays against the Cardinals in week 8.
There you have it. Let's get into bonus time, bro. Unless you got something else on this side of bonus time that you want to talk about.
Only a few comments. Lee Connolly asked Guardian cap for Tua.
So here's my thing about the Guardian cap. The NFL has come out and said that there is a significant difference in, how do I say this? It's safer for players, is what they're saying. It's significantly safer for players to wear the Guardian cap as opposed to not wearing the Guardian cap. If it is significantly safer, why are you not enforcing everyone in the NFL to wear a Guardian cap? And I believe they are capping, pardon the pun. Like, I don't believe it is significantly safer, because if it is, what is your rebuttal to not enforcing everyone to wear a Guardian cap? You know what I'm saying? Because I would like to hear them come out and say, oh, this is why we don't enforce everyone to wear a Guardian cap. And then try to say it's player safety. So I call cap on the NFL saying the Guardian cap is safer. In my opinion, I don't believe it's safer. I'm not a doctor. I wore a helmet before. I have a couple helmets. I've hit my head before in football. There's no way you could tell me just because this cap is bigger, like your brain doesn't rattle when it hits the ground abruptly. I just don't believe that. So, yeah, if someone wants to wear a Guardian cap, hats off to them, because it's not a popular thing, and I'm all for it. But I don't believe it's safer. That's just my opinion.
I also don't think he'll wear one. not because it's not safe. I just think again it's one of those things where it won't prevent concussions. It's not like you wear the guarding cap, no more concussions. It's like, obviously he's not going to go out there without a helmet. But at this point, it's like, yo, I reckon he feels comfortable and confident enough that if he slides and protects himself, the added benefit of a guardian cap is going to make that much difference.
I can make the argument, Kadeem, and I've been making this argument for over 10 years. True story. Before I even met you, I was making this argument. If NFL players did not wear helmets, there'll be less concussions. People would not lead with their heads. They would take their head out of the play. It is because their head is protected and they have a helmet. They feel like they can go in with their helmet as a means of like support. And it is not recommended. I hate to see it. You see it on every single layer level of football, even in optimists to high school, middle school, high school, and college. People put on a helmet and then they leave with their head. If you don't have a helmet on, all the sandlot games you ever play in football, you never see someone going in with their head first because they don't have a helmet on. And I believe if they didn't have helmets, there'll be significantly less concussions. And I believe, and now don't take this part to the bank, but I think back in the day when the NFL didn't have helmets, they had like little leather things going on. I think there was more neck injuries. I think if I remember correctly, there was more neck injuries, but there weren't like head trauma injuries. So yeah, man, I hate that this is the sport that I love. But
I was just gonna say, yeah, like you look at rugby, there's concussions, but it's not to the significant level there are in the NFL. And yeah, so I watched the Saints Bucks game, and I saw a player go to tackle Baker Mayfield, but as like Baker Mayfield kind of like jumped, the player kind of jumped head first into his like rib, like where he's like his hip basically. Yeah, if it's not wearing a helmet, he doesn't do that. He doesn't lead with his head like a missile. Like, what are you doing, you stupid idiot? So
sure.
yeah, I agree. Lee Connolly also says has to return ASAP. We have Hill and Waddle, like driving your Ferrari at 10 miles per hour.
I disagree. Because if I'm in a Ferrari and I'm driving at 10 miles an hour, everybody can see me and I'm still cheating. You know what I'm saying? So give me a different analogy, but I know where you were going.
Manolo Rivera says, "Hola mi gente." I believe the G is silent in the word he's saying.
That's hola my people, basically.
Yeah, but like, is it gente? Like, not the G is silent, correct?
Mi gente.
Yeah. Yes. I don't Spanish like.
He said, "What's up, my people?"
Yeah.
Manolo, if you didn't say "What's up, my people," correct my Spanish, please. But I think he said, "What's up, my people."
And then Lee says, if he just slid. There's a question from Jason Keck, but we can get to that in bonus time. So yeah, I'm all good to head over to bonus time.
Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmonds and all of mi gente, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
Charlie, it's been a long week.
Has it?
Yeah. Just pregnancy stuff.
Kadeem got one in the oven. Kadeem, if y'all missed it, Kadeem got a baby.
Kadeem has nothing in his oven apart from Chinese he had earlier. Like my oven is my oven is full of Chinese. That's the only thing in my oven right now.
Oh my
goodness. So
hey, Cam Akers traded from the Texans to the Vikings just now. Hot off the press. Happened seconds ago.
The only thing I saw was that Andrew Thomas is going to have season-ending injury. Like the Giants are another team that kind of cooked, which kind of brings me to Jason Keck's question. So Jason asked, Have you guys looked at Carson Beck? Yes, I know it's only week 7. That dude has an arm and throws a tight spiral on his ball consistently. Before I pass it over to you, in the nicest possible way, Trevor Lawrence has an arm and throws a tight spiral on the ball consistently. Do trash with first overall, probably going to get replaced in the next 2 years. I need more than has an arm and throws a tight spiral on the ball consistently. I don't know what that means in the NFL in 2024. That is how you basically completely mess up your first round draft pick. Could you draft a guy with a big arm and he throws a tight spiral? Great. That is absolutely brilliant. But no, I haven't seen anything of Carson Beck. Is that the guy at... It's not LSU, is it?
I don't remember. I kind of like I told you I'm going to Touche's 24 mode until December. Really, I think he's at Florida. I don't even remember. I don't know what Carson Beck is.
He's at Georgia.
Georgia.
He's also,
you know what? I did see Carson Beck, and I'm not impressed. But I'm not going to go too much into that. But thanks for the question, Jason. That's why you asked about Beck, because your name Keck. See, I see you, bro. Keck and Beck. I rock with you. I did see Carson Beck, but I'm not impressed. I will say this though, Kadeem. When you watch Josh Allen play, you cannot deny his physical abilities, right? And I think there's a stat, and they didn't say this last night on air, but I remembered it from whenever they said it a year ago. And I actually don't remember it verbatim. But there's a stat where Josh Allen running to the right, rolling out to the right and running, scrambling to his right, coming within, you know how you like these analytics, right? Coming within 5 yards of out of bounds and throwing a pass is at like 80% completion rate. So when he rolls out to the right and he's within 5 yards of out of bounds, he completes 80% of his passes. It's a craziest stat, and it is impressive. I'm not even gonna lie. And then there's people. Oh, see, Tua can't do that. You're right. Tua can't do that. And then Josh Allen starts running. Tua can't do that. You're right. Tua can't do that. But now I'm gonna start pointing out all the stuff that Josh Allen can't do when Tua does it. Now you see how accurate that pass was. Josh Allen can't do that. You see how nice that was, like anticipated, bro. Like you see how on the money that pass was. Josh Allen can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like money to me. You know what I'm saying? So nah, bro, it's cool. Like we disagree about what we want at our quarterback, and it's funny how the Buffalo Bills have decided to take the ball out of Josh Allen's hands and put it on his legs, and now they have more success that way. If that's what you want at quarterback, more power to you.
Yeah. Also, just on Carson Beck, and again, it doesn't really mean much. He's 22, he turns 23 in November. As a mid-round prospect, okay, cool. I'm not drafting 23-year-old in the first round. Like, that's just me personally. I'm not doing that.
That's like around the age that all of them come out, like 22, 23. Like,
I don't know. I love being like the.
But there's kids. They're kids, bro. Like they're kids.
I'm in no way doubting that. No, I'll probably say that, and then Tua will probably be like 23 when he got drafted. Tua is 26 now.
I was just about to say, I thought he was like 23 when he got drafted.
Well, he's 26, and he's been in the league, 5 years now?
He turns 24 in March.
So what? He's 26 now?
I meant his birthday is in March. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
So he would have been, 22 when drafted?
Yeah. That's bro. Yeah. This is the going age for college students. Like they come out in their early 20s. You give them $20 million. They don't know what to do with it, bro. What you would have did with $20 million at 22 today?
I'm not a Dolphins fan yet, so I'm not moving to America. $20
million at 22.
I'd probably get it converted to pounds first of all. So hold on, let's do the conversion. 20 million
in dollars to pounds, so that's probably like what, 16 million, 17 million, 16.7, 16.5,
15.3. 15 million. Wow,
close.
That's buzz. I'd probably give some to friends and family, like 2 to 3 mil to friends and family. Keep about 12 to myself. Buy myself a nice house. Learn to drive.
Kadeem don't know how to drive yet, y'all boys, but it's cool.
Yeah, but you know, I would be in 20 to like, yeah, buy a house, and I don't know, be a better person than I was. What was it? At 22, I was still working at McDonald's, so I will not be working at McDonald's. I can tell you that for a fact, 100%.
That's funny. You got anything else for us for bonus time?
Yeah, very, very quickly. Sunday we saw Chris Olave, potentially Marvin Harrison Jr., and I feel like 2 or 3 other players suffer concussions, but especially the first 2 guys I mentioned. Harrison stood up, clearly stumbles and falls to the ground, and Olave suffers his 4th concussion in 4 years. I hate to be that person, but why is it that since those injuries happened on Sunday, I've seen silence from people in the media, social media? Like, the only people I see talking about it are Dolphin fans pointing out, why is no one talking about these concussions?
There's a question in there.
Why is no one talking about it?
I don't know, Kadeem, bro. Listen, bro, I'm concussioned out, bro. I hate that we have to have these conversations, not because of Dolphin fans and our quarterback, but I told you I'm getting soft in my old age, bro. And the real answer is no one should be playing football. That and peek behind the curtain, we had a conversation on Patreon, probably the best conversation we've ever had, because one of our patrons asked us the question and it ended up being an hour-long response and between me and you. And it was great dialogue, but at the same time, the brain is not ready for football, bro. It may never be either. So we do not possess a mechanism where our brain can take such trauma and we recover from it. Unfortunately, unlike the woodpecker, who has a mechanism built into his head where the tongue wraps around the brain. When he starts pecking wood, it protects the brain from the trauma. We're not woodpeckers. We don't have that mechanism. It's unfortunate. I hate that. So young, bro, for our entertainment too. These boys, early 20s, sacrificing their health and mental health for us. I really hate it.
Yeah, it's awful. Final comment from Lee Connolly. He said, I traded my nan for Josh Allen. No question. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Hey, make sure you trade Waddle and Hill too, since he won't be able to get them boys the ball. Like,
shout out to Lee, shout out to Jason Keck, shout out to Manolo, shout out to everyone who joined us in the comments, be it in the live or in the immediate aftermath of the video going up on YouTube. Definitely head over to Patreon. We obviously have so much stuff going on over there, including Extra Point, a whole bunch of stuff, including some fancy stuff coming up very, very soon. I guess that's basically it from me, which means we shall see you on... No, we won't. Yes, we will. We shall see you on the next one. Peace.